Uncle Soviet. Soviet, as I mentioned before, is one of the team members of Fulcrum Gaming. He is able to speak Russian and English, a very valuable asset for anyone in this league.
You mean Sov 13T?
Yeah, that's right. Sov 13T.
No, just kidding.
No, the IS-3, guys, this is another tank that if you're trying to figure out which tech tree to go down, and if you want to go down the Soviet tech tree, this is one of the first tanks you want to pretty much plan around to get. It is quite a dominating force in the different games that we see here in the pro scene, and especially in the pub games. And being able to play it, you know, with that curved armor, be like,
dude,
come
it's
at me,
good.
bro,
it's like,
just moving in. It's
it
awesome.
looks like 30%, 40%. That's an extra 15 to 25% of effective armor that you've added on just by having that sloped armor. It's pretty substantial.
Those diagonal angles and how it was formed. You know, the Soviets really had amazing innovation when it came to tank by using that sloped armor. You'll see with a lot of the American tanks, their turret armor is fantastic, but the rest of their whole armor, which is reflected in this game, can take some damage pretty easily. But the Soviets pretty much built around having those curves, those type of angles, to increase the chances of shells bouncing off. And when you have a shell bounce, and you have like 10 HP left, you have another lease on life.
You feel like the man.
You feel like Superman.
Yes, you do.
It's
and
great.
You know what? Ruukil was just talking about that earlier when we first started the broadcast. He was like, it's so nice just outplaying these scrubs. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Outplaying these bad scrubs and just bouncing shells like you're Superman.
I think that is
I
paraphrasing.
never said they were scrubs. I called them puppies.
Puppies.
Oh, that's
There's
that's
a
right.
difference.
Sorry.
There's a
Puppies
difference.
are what we have in World of Tanks. You see,
I'm not a puppy, right?
you're a puppy.
It's okay, bro. There's support groups.
One day you'll graduate, maybe, maybe. But
I gotta get out
it
my
will be a
T1,
proud day.
right?
You have to work for it. You have
Dude,
to work for
I
it,
have
man.
like 20,000 experience, free experience just from my T1.
just from your T1.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm
Whoa, that's a lot.
I think you might be exaggerating a little bit.
No, I'm not. I have like, I'm on my IS, right? I'm almost at my IS3. But do you know what I love to play? T1 puppies, baby. T1 Cunningham all the way.
That's known as seal clubbing, sir.
I club many of seals, good sir.
You are a sick and disgusting person.
Well, this got violent. All right, where are we at with the game right now? We're just waiting on one more invitation, Ruukil.
Well, actually, we have just about everyone we need in here. I've got to move some people around, but we're
Okay.
getting some tank picking done.
All right. I love how you have to look down because you have an awesome touchscreen when you
Yeah.
do the
I've
telestrator.
got to just throw my face into it because I have to make sure I see absolutely everything.
Yeah.
You'll see the top of my head a lot of the times, but I mean, it's better than just the hat's prettier than the top of my head, right?
Tip of the
Well,
hat
we
to
can
you.
talk about the map a little bit because
Sure.
they have chosen the map. It is steps, and let me tell you, it's not my favorite map in the map pool.
Fair enough. fair
I
enough.
just don't like it in general when I play on it, but of course that plays out incredibly different than in competitive play. But what are your experiences with steps?
You know, with steps, when I first started playing World of Tanks, and when I ever joined this map in a pub game, I thought, oh, cool, rocks. I'm going to hide behind these rocks for a bit and try to find different areas where the rock embankments or outcrops would provide the best cover but give me the best vision, especially on getting higher tier tanks with the increased view range that you were able to snipe, you know, some of those light tanks moving by. However, I would find myself many a time just being tore up by artillery or just getting hit from long range from places I couldn't even tell where they were coming from because of those tank destroyers. So that middle road, a lot of people say don't take that road, but it's also allows for a little bit of cover because it's in a bit of an embankment, it's in a bit of a valley moving in. I also seen a lot of play happening in the northeastern corner because it is a bit of a valley itself up there, especially when it's the capture point is in that area for different type of encounter battles in the public games, and that can be a lot of fun, especially if you try to rush it.
I think you mentioned something really important, which is the amount of valleys there are. It's a very hilly place, so I think gun depression is probably one of the most important thing on this map. Do you know what has great gun depression?
The T-32.
The T-32, baby.
No cons of the T-32.
No cons of the T-32. Also, do you know what else has really good gun depression? The Jumbo Sherman.
The Jumbo Sherman, yeah. Well, especially using the 76mm instead of the 105. And you guys will learn as you try out different tanks. There's different guns that you can use. There's a top gun, but with the Sherman Jumbo, you could go back to the 105, but for the M4 Sherman, stick with it.
We are just kidding with the Jumbo Sherman. At competitive play, again, if you're just tuning in, it's like Mr. Bitter's favorite,
It is.
all-time favorite tank.
It is. It is. And he's having a lot of fun playing World of Tanks along with everybody else here. Ruukil, looks like we're at tank selection right now.
Yep. Let's talk about it a little bit.
Well,
we got. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, well, they've begun picking their tanks, and we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks picked so far for Team War and Peace. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 for Vultures. So we're going to finish up that tank picking. It's a really light lineup from both sides. We actually have T-69s rolling out. I'm actually surprised to see a 5100 picked for Steps. It's really weird for me, actually, to see that. Most teams that I see wouldn't actually bring a 5100.
Oh, well, why don't you tell everybody why?
Well, it doesn't really actually have great gun depression.
Yeah.
So it can be a problem on a lot of these hills. You can find yourself up on one bump, and you find yourself with a huge range of motion that your gun can't get to. So you have to move your tank around, which throws your reticle out again.
Actually, most French tanks have terrible gun depression.
Oh, yeah, just about all of them.
So, I mean, normally it's a refuted line almost. So it might actually tell their opponents what they're trying to do. They're trying to go on the open plains or even keep them behind, the 5100s behind, and then finally break through. I'm actually not sure, to be completely honest, what they're going to do with the 5100. I felt like I was just spewing stuff at that end there.
Well, I look forward to seeing what kind of tactical placement they're going to put that tank. You know, the speed is not too bad, and that autoloader could do enough damage. It might just be a suicide-type run, do as much damage as he can before he gets targeted. But look at the Object 261 that is chosen.
They chose
on the
two
side of
5100s.
And a Cromwell on the side, Tier 6 tank has been chosen for Team 2, which is War and Peace. And as soon as the players are ready to go, we're going to start this match. It is on Steps. And that Object 261 against the lineup against Team 2, if he's able to land some shots, that's going to be devastating for him.
You know, I know we don't have like super pro level insight to this, but if you have to, not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, give it a couple days. Let Ru work his magic, right? We keep rubbing his hat. Everything's going to be good. But right off the bat, I'm going to give the advantage over to War and Peace just because of the lineup. I like it a lot better. As we were talking about the Amex 5100s, the Object 261, it's okay, but I feel like the mobility that War and Peace has is just really, really good. And as you said, there are a lot of stones you can, rocks that you can.
Stones unturned, rocks unturned. Ruukil, if we're ready to go, go ahead and start the match.
There's a lot of hiding places on this map.
Yeah.
It is
actually
quite
I
big.
have one little problem that I have to deal with.
Oh, no!
Yep,
Right.
We got one team, War and Peace. I don't think they quite read the rules. They're down one tank. They're only going to have 7 guys tonight.
So they can only use. They're down. They have 6 guys now, which means they can only use 41 tier points. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
they have 7 guys.
They have 7 guys.
7 guys. So they get 41 points, but they're going to be down 1 point because they're down a guy. All right.
Okay.
All right. So they wanted to pick a Cromwell.
A tier 6 tank. I can imagine
it would have been good, but.
Well, that makes sense now.
Yeah. As you get that adjusted as the admin, Ruukil, appreciate you doing that. Let's talk about the WZ-132.
Okay.
Now, this is a tank you've played some, I've played some. There is some differences between the 131. When I first played it, I was really impressed with how it could practically turn circles around so many different tanks.
Yeah.
And again, another factor, another level to this game with the type of resources you have and the type of tank that you have is that traverse speed. How well can it turn, especially in different terrain? And the WZ-132 being able to weave some circles, right? Some circles around so many different tanks here, especially the 1390. I feel it's like a really good counter. You
know, I was talking to Nagatron about the WZ-132, and I was like, why choose the 132 when you have, in my opinion, so many better options? He's like, well, you have good speed. You're trading off autoloaders for obviously having just single shots, but it has pretty good pen, pretty good attack. It's an all-around good tank. But he was saying when his Bison was hitting the tank.
We're going to start. We've actually got both teams up to 7 players.
Right on. We're good to go.
We've got things all set out, so we're going to go in. We've got the right setup.
All right, go ahead and start the match. Ruukil.
But real quick, what he was saying was when his Bison was attacking WZ-132, I'm not sure if he said modules or ammo racks were exploded, but he said they were getting some pretty nasty hits on the WZ-132. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I'm not sure with it. I haven't tested it out too much in terms of how it does with defense, but it's something to keep in mind. If Nagatron says it, Nagatron says it.
If Nagatron says it, it's got to be true.
It's got to be true.
All right, let's go ahead and show you guys what Steps looks like.
Yeah. All right, here we go on Steps. We see both teams splitting up. I'm expecting some kind of split and teams to begin going on to the ridge lines of both of their bases. So I'm expecting that we'll see something along the lines of tanks coming out to here, except we actually already see a big move into both sides and a little bit of a scout run. So we should probably begin following these scouts to see if they engage.
And here's one of the scouts right now, Blaze Zero. Quite a name, 115 hit points, that T1 Cunningham. Cruising a little long, like the little engine that could, across the eastern side of the, or excuse me, the western side of the map at this time. Now a couple of the other tanks for this team have actually moved up to the eastern side into that valley approach. If we'll take a look at where red is moving, they're moving that valley area as well. We'll probably see an engagement here pretty quickly. But Blaze Zero is just non-stop trotting along here, no encounter whatsoever, and he's going to hit this big rock quarry in this side, which provides a lot of really good cover right off the bat.
But on the other side of the match, we actually had Death Warrior scouting out on the east, and we saw Petriel in his T69 move way up to a rock in about, let's say E9. Wait, see, sorry, D9. He's out behind that rock, and actually Mythical is showing up, trying to take shots on Death Warmed Over.
Well, it's a fight of two light tanks right now, T2 Light and Tier 1 Cunningham. Shots fired, both sides, 79 HP left on Blaze Zero. Blaze Zero shoots twice with that burst gun, is not able to land those hits. AC Dub trying to move around to the rear flank. Blaze Zero trying to position himself, and not the best of angles. Now angling a little bit better here. Shots fired again. 15 HPs left for Blaze Zero. He's on fire, and he goes down. First death is accomplished for the red team.
Poor guy didn't stand much of a chance. T2 Light, I mean, T1 can take him on, but a T2 Light's still one tier higher, just better in every way by that little bit. And on the other side of the map, we've actually got a lot of play around. We've got most of the tanks from War and Peace playing around in the little hills and the little in the valley. As Death Warmed Over tries to spot them, we're actually going to have a game where Artie's going to be, he's going to have a big effect. The 261 back over in K0, the back corner of the map, he's probably just going to try and shoot all day, see if we can get some hits until War and Peace is forced to aggress. If they don't do something, what's going to happen is a war of attrition. They're going to lose.
A war of attrition is one of the multifaceted ways of committing warfare and trying to starve out your opponents. It's how the Russians actually beat Napoleon, as my history can remember.
Yeah.
They burned the field.
Don't attack in winter.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't
seriously.
attack in winter. Winter is coming. Don't attack. All right, the WZ-132 is facing a little bit of some fire himself. Nope, no shots have landed on him, but he does see Petriel 2000 in the T69. Herbathal has been spotted as well in the other T69 across the fields. If you look at the different positioning of the WZ-32, he does not stop whatsoever. He continues in a serpentine-like formation, circling around that hill and trying to keep tabs against his enemy. That's how you play a scout.
So, Ruukil, I really want to ask, because I'm trying to follow what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm failing to see like a huge overarching plan for these two teams. Are they just waiting each other out a little bit and seeing reactions and playing accordingly, or?
Well, Voltures right now is actually playing it very smart for their lineup. They have an Object 261, which has a great fire rate, can hit pretty hard, and is very accurate. Now, it doesn't have a lot of splash, which means that people like Petriel behind this rock that we can see, he is he's going to be hard target to hit, whereas other larger arty, you know, like a GW or a T92 could probably splash and do some nice damage every time a shot came up. 261's not going to be able to pull that stuff off. But we actually do see Outrageous going to the rock. He's actually going to hit that rock and try and do proxy spotting, 50 meters, that kind of deal.
Wow.
Slams pretty hard into that rock, but doesn't take any damage. Shots fired against those T69s here. Petriel 2000, Herbal Thrill, like you guys said, are in a pretty precocious situation right now. As the WZ-132 did some fantastic spotting, and now it's just a simple matter of time before he can line up a shot here.
WZ-132 and actually two WZ-132 is going to flank over here. MX-1390 not looking good. He doesn't have a lot of places to go. He has no places to go, as he will get blown up very quickly. A couple of return fires coming in from all over the place. Of course, the MX-1390 is being backed up by a couple potshot fires, but that's not going to be enough. He goes down. And that's a dead tank pretty badly right there.
Yeah, but at the same
barely
time,
took any damage there
he did a really good job. I mean, he was completely surrounded by 4 tanks.
Yeah.
And he survived pretty much, I expected him to go down in like a second, 2 seconds, as everyone unloaded into him. But he still didn't go down. And he actually did a pretty good job with that. But on the other side of the map, we see a T2 Light getting into the backfield and actually creating a bit of havoc. Both of the T2 Lights, actually, as Death Warmed Over goes to kill them.
Deathwarmer does try to turn around the rock here, has his sights set on that T2, slams right into him and gets the kill. Chalk one up for Voltures. Deathworm does spot, or had spotted in the past, what was going on just past those rocks. He's going to play a little bit safe here, going a little bit down in the valley that is the road, and going to start.
Yep, and now Mythical's going to jump on Rocks in the Object 261. He's going to go down fast, and Rocks, wow, that's a really big hit. Jesus.
Oh. Object 261 is going to go down, though, as you said, Ruukil.
But then another trade. That's a tank for a tank right there.
That's
again.
right.
Tier
That's
8
right.
for Tier 8. So every loss, it's not as much of a gain for War and Peace as I would have thought. But at the same time, this match could go either way at this point.
Deathworm Dover is engaging right now against Spirit AW, 153 HP against 679. WZ132 gets the kill. Nice shot by Deathworm Dover. He's going to move over and try to reinforce the side of Vendetta 68 and the AMX 5100. This is a close matchup here, folks. It looks like the blue team's doing pretty well.
Yeah, they might have it. Herbal Thrill is the only real damage dealer left on the team. I don't think he could do it. I mean, the 5100s with terrible gun depression, he might be able to get away with a lot of free damage there, but this T2 Light, he's also peeling away Deathwormed Over, but he gets tracked, he's down. He actually tracked himself going down that hill.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't paying attention to his speed and wasn't driving safely enough. He got himself tracked, and that's what got him killed. He could have gotten away if he'd driven more safely.
Dukes of Hazzard can be a lot of fun, but it can also get you killed.
But even those T2 Lights are so valuable against those AMXs, I mean, they can still do hull damage against them, so that's really important. Unfortunately, it's 1 versus 3. It's not looking good. As you said, he can line up shots and utilize his gun depression, but it's hard to utilize that against 3 different tanks.
Yeah, Vendetta right now is waiting for Herbal Thrill, assuming he's over there, and at the same time, we've got the WZ Deathwormed Over going off to Cat. He's going to pressure. Herbal Thrill's going to have to return to base, or I don't. He doesn't really have any other choice.
He has to return to base, or it's game over.
Yeah.
Well, one captured tank, or one tank on the capture point, 19%. It's a minute and 20 until he's able to capture. That leaves a minute left in the game. If that capture point happens, which is a pretty close call here with that 10-minute mark, Spotting is trying to position the enemy team moving in against the WZ-132. Positions correctly, tries to line up the shot against the T-69, shoots, misses, backs up, forsaking the capture point there. It's better to stay alive. A nice hit, 211 hit points. He goes down. Another hit by Herbal Thrill in the T-69. It is now a 2-on-1 matchup.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly that. He was using that hull down, took advantage of it, and destroyed his enemy. It was really well played. Unfortunately, 25100s are going to try and split and catch him. As he tries to escape over the tracks, he could stay safe and actually get some nice damage out.
Yeah, he gets over the tracks. Again, those tracks are another place where he can hold down really nicely against those AMX 5100s.
Exactly.
And take advantage of his position.
This is where the AMX 5100s really come into play, man. That T-69, even though it's a fast shooter, a little bit more nimble than the AMX 50s.
Here we go.
The HP.
And he's starting up.
Vendetta taking some shots himself, 645 damage, takes the shot, misses.
Oh,
Herbal Thrills hit again.
Wow.
2 misses. That's it right there. Those 2 misses did it.
Vendetta's going to simply line up the shot, waits for it, takes the shot, and gets the kill against Herbal Thrill. Vultures takes game number 1 in the best-of-5 series.
But War and Peace made a really good showing, especially right at the end. I think it was really just a fumble by War and Peace. They had all of the advantages. They had those T2 Lights in the backfield, and they played with them really well. They even peeled away the scout, and then they had a lot of opportunity right there. But unfortunately, the 261 was able to get off a great shot that evened out that health pool disadvantage that they were being put at, and it really saved the match. Yeah. Vultures did some really good stuff.
And let's also be honest, the Object 261 played a fantastic game, I thought. Like, doing all that initial damage and then also trading out Tier 8 for Tier 8 when he goes to actually, when his opponent's team aggressed up on him. I mean, really played well. If you look at the damage dealt, he did a total of 2271.
That's right. That's top on his team.
Good chunk of change.
Pretty much the best in the match by far. He did a really great job. That was a good 261 play and some really great scout play along with that. I thought Deathwormed Over actually did a great job. He was a very strong scout. I was surprised. I just didn't expect it.
Well, we got to see how the AMX 5100s performed in that match. We'll see if they choose them in the next match. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, game number 2. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It's time for some more World of Tanks action in battle number 2 of match number 2 for tonight. We're only doing the qualifier so far. A lot of people are watching this saying, wow, this is really impressive. It was really cool. Just wait till July 11th, man. That's when league play begins. But so far, I've been seeing a lot of great matches, some different types of picks, and some intriguing strategies of these different type of teams that have joined the qualifier.
That's right. And already a great match 1. The first match
Battle
was
1.
great.
Well, match 1.
And then now we're in match 2.
Now we're in match 2.
We're
battle
up.
2.
We're into our second battle. Why am I like... I had a stroke, man. It is so hot in here right now.
It is. It's pretty hot. We're in the desert.
Second battle. It's going to be played on Ruinberg. There we go. Okay. Got my bearings straight.
All right.
I love Ruinberg. I'm just going to put it out there. It's my all-time favorite map. But again, we're going to talk about the village in the eastern side, the city in the western side, how the eastern side village is normally a point of contention in the beginning phase, and then it slowly trickles into the city. But of course, we've seen both teams go to the city before in the past. But still, I feel like a lot of it goes on the village. It's important to note there are a couple screenplays that you can do from each side coming from the city into the western side. So that's something important to note. I'm sure Ruukil will talk about that as we get into the game. But right now, we're just at the tank selections part.
Yeah, waiting for the teams to confirm that they're ready to go. They'll go into the tank selection. Again, a reminder of how the format for this league works. It's 7x42. That means that each team gets 7 tanks. They cannot go higher than 8 tier points. There's actually 10 tier point tanks in the game, but 8 is the maximum for competitive play. And they have to vary the type of tanks that they have. You know, sometimes they'll have 5 tier 8s and 2 tier 1s, or they'll mix it up. And seeing the different types of compositions these teams choose is half the fun before the match even begins.
Correct.
And also watching different leagues, such as Russia or Southeast Asia, Europe, and even Korea, and the type of tanks they choose. One team I saw in the Korean league, they had a full KV-5 push that they tried to win with, and it looked like they were going to do it, but in the end, they were just too slow. And
there were no togs, man.
There were no togs, indeed. It was not on this map. It was on a different map. I believe it was on Himmelsdorf. But it was quite a type of engagement, you know, and to see the different type of picks that they have. Also, to give you guys a season overview, right now we're in the qualifiers. Qualifiers number 1. 4 teams will make it through qualifiers number 1 at the end of the week. We have registration for qualifiers number 2 next week because we're going to be at E3. Make sure to check that out. Wargaming is going to have some amazing stuff that you guys definitely need to check out for yourselves online. And, of course, you follow us on Twitter. We'll give you guys some updates. And then after that, the qualifier number 2, 4 teams will make it then. July 11th is when league play begins, and that's 3 weeks of league matches, and that is going to be the 8-seeded teams and the 8 qualified teams head-to-head, the top 16. Finals for the season. Put this on your calendar. Save some money. You're going to want to buy a plane ticket. This happens August 17th and 18th. And this all is for a $100,000 prize pool at the finals. And guess what, gentlemen? This is only season 1. There's so much more amazing things coming out from Wargaming in the world of esports and also online. Make sure to check out World of Tanks at worldoftanks.com. Ruukil, you just keep us updated when they start choosing the different tanks here. I see one of the tanks that they have is the L tractor, which is funny because I call the TOG 2 the LOL tractor in pub games. The TOG 2 is the first premium tank I ever bought, and it was because it was on sale. And always, guys, check Wargaming's website because they have some great sales and some tanks that you definitely want to check out. But a friend of mine was like, "Yeah, you should check it out. It's a premium tank. You get a credit increase when you play it. It's a little bit slow, but it's got a lot of HP." So I go, "Okay." I started playing it. It was a boat. It moved as slow as a barge in the sand. However, on city maps, that's a fantastic tank to use.
Yeah, definitely so. Also on the shipyard map, you can actually go into the water and you'll float the whole time. Try it, guys. Try it at home.
You're such a troll. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No, but it's cool to see the L tractor in play. Although I think the T1 is better.
I think they're just keeping it as a placeholder until they choose the actual tank, which is what some of the players do to hide the picks that they have.
Okay.
But the amount of tanks that are actually in this game is astonishing. And for each of the different nations and the historical context that each of these tanks have, not every tank actually saw combat in the World Wars, not just World War II, but World War I, the Korean War. The AMX were used all the way up into the 1980s. And to learn the history of each of these different takes, you can go on the wiki, which is wiki.com, worldoftanks.com that gives so much historical information that we'll be talking about in different segments here that we do. So if there's one thing that we do well, it's segments, man, for sure.
Definitely so. Anyway, let's go into it because there are a couple tanks picked. We have 2 IS-3s already being picked. Now, IS-3s, we were talking about that before, a lot better outside of the open field. It kind of tells us they're going into that that city in the western side. On the other side, we also have an IS-3 picked up and two T1s. So obviously the T1s are very standard, but again, the IS-3 having a little city presence. You can still use it in the village over in the eastern side.
I mean, you can. Well. You can in some field maps, and this is my personal opinion. I'm still learning the game, but I feel that the IS-3 is a type of attack tank you want to be on the front lines. So for more open type maps, I don't think we're going to see here in the pro scene. But if you're playing it yourself in the public games, you want to get to the front of the battle as soon as possible. Yeah. And you're able to absorb those shots. And if you understand the angling type mechanics in the game, you're going to have such a fun time with the IS-3.
Yeah. How I see the IS-3 is, you know, you're not getting that auto loader that has the really good burst damage, so you need some sort of cover.
It has high spike damage though for a shot.
It does. But you need that cover to back behind if you're up against another auto loaders, because you kind of negate that auto loading advantage, I would say, that you would normally have if you're going up one-on-one. So the IS-3, go into that city, you know, shoot out, duck behind cover. You can also do that, of course, at the Eastern Village. On top of that, it doesn't have like fantastic speed as opposed to other tanks, T-69, etc. So I feel like
but it is good enough to get to the front.
Correct.
Lines, though,
yes, it is. It is. So that's where I kind of fit it in. But Ruukil, actually, I could probably use you since you might be a little bit better than all of us combined at the offices.
Maybe.
Well, it's funny.
So,
what's funny, real quick, when I bought the T-34 premium tank, goes, no, you should get the IS-6. And I said, I can't transfer my crews from America into a Russian tank. I'm going to go with the T-34. And okay. But
I was saying maybe you should try something different, you know, broaden your horizons.
It's my next one,
but you're just like, all right, I'm going to go America. Freedom tanks.
I like to spread freedom across the battlefield. There's nothing wrong with that.
Clutch, you do whatever you want,
I can do whatever I want.
See?
Okay, you can do that.
You
live in a very free country.
I do.
America.
Anyways, tell us more about the IS-3. What are your thoughts on it?
It's a great tank. I mean, that pike nose is incredibly strong.
The Shuka, as they say in Russian.
The Shuka, exactly, you know. And there's some really cool tricks with it. Even though it's got kind of a weaker turret next to the T-32, it can still do really well and hull down. And if a player that really knows how to use the IS-3 can do some really cool stuff with the armor. I mean, the sides armor can be used in ways where if you can get some really nice wide angles. People will be deceived into shooting your sides, and they're gonna bounce. I mean, side armor in that IS-3, and you can turn yourself around, put yourself into a corner, and where no one can shoot your back, and you can actually make it so that pike nose isn't gonna be exposed when you're fighting around corners and such. It's a bit of reverse angling. Some people call it side scraping, but I really hate it.
It's called reverse angling.
The only reason why I call it side scraping is because you told me that you hate it.
I told you that it was called that initially, and then you started using it, and you said, no,
don't use that. And I said, oh, okay. And then he's like, oh, they're gonna cap fast. I was like, you mean fast cap? And he hated that too.
It goes either way, yeah.
But of course, we're just trolling him. You know, for those of you that don't know, Ricochet is a really important part of learning the game of World of Tanks. Now, Ricochet happens when you're attacking an armor on an angle, and there's actually an exponential growth based on the angle that you're shooting at it. If you're shooting at plus 70 degrees, it's going to most likely ricochet off of that tank. But if it's at 60 to 70 degrees, you're looking at about double the armor that it actually has. So let's say, you know, something like the IS-3 has 100, I think 110 in the hull.
Let's check real quick. Hull has 110 in the front, 90 on the side, and 60 in the back.
So you can actually double that by having such a steep angle of attack. That's crazy. That's instead of 110, you're dealing with effective armor of 220. So obviously you're going to bounce or ricochet or at least take not a lot of damage, especially with RNG that works. Of course, piercing, penetration isn't always the same. So it just, you know, gives a little bit more life into that specific region of the game. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, that's math, folks.
Math.
That's why math actually matters.
It's 1 over cosine theta, where theta is the angle of your fire. It's actually really
I was in calculus, and when we start to hit imaginary numbers and how the negative square root of I equals 1.
I'm going to interrupt you guys because we are ready to start.
Right
Let's
on.
get
Thank
this
you,
rolling.
Ruukil. Let's get this rolling.
Let's
it's
go.
actually I is the square root of -1.
Whatever. That doesn't even matter. They're imaginary numbers.
All right, here we
They're
go.
very.
Oh,
Well,
and we've gotta
I was
move
about
one
to say
guy
they're
down,
very
sorry.
real, but they're actually
Okay.
not real. They're imaginary.
Oh, is there one more guy left? Ruukil, we have to wait
yeah,
on?
I had to move so many around. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. That's
Yep.
all right. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the game right now to show all the tanks that are in position for these different teams. On Team 1, AMX 5100, AMX 1390, IS-3, T1 Cunningham, AMX 5100, and an IS-3. For Team 2, T69, L Tractor, which I look forward to seeing, the IS-3, T69, and IS-3, an IS-3, and a T1. Let's go ahead and start the match off here.
Here we go.
I look forward to see the type of engagement that's going to happen because last game we were surprised with the AMX 5100s. I'm really happy, man. This is some pretty good plays so far from these qualified teams, or these teams that are trying to qualify.
NA scene.
NA scene, man.
NA scene.
America.
It's growing.
That's right.
It's growing. It's going to sprout into a beautiful flower.
And a beautiful tree, and then a tank will run it over. Let's go ahead and take a look at what Ruinberg looks like. We actually want to show you guys steps because it's such a pretty map.
Yep.
But we're actually on Ruinberg. Ruukil, go ahead and take it away to different positions.
All right, so I saw some pings right at the start from North team, which really indicated what they were going to do. I had one ping back where I circled on the top left here of the screen. I think a T1 might back up there, but he looks like he's decided to go deeper into the city. I thought we might have a T1 holding back while we got a big move into the field, but at the same time, we've got a nice city push coming in from the south, and we'll see how that works out in a moment.
I'm going following Raw X on the AMX 5100. He's going to follow the other AMX 5100, Vendetta 68. This is the side blue team, reminding everybody of Voltures. The red team is War and Peace. Voltures is currently up 1-0. Pushing down the line are these heavy tanks, moving down the east side of the map on that 0 line.
Oh, no.
It looks like one tank has been spotted over on the west side.
Oh, Tractor. See, this is why T1's so good.
That low tractor's down to 16 health. He can't take much more of this.
No, he cannot. He's still a good spotter, man.
No, Blaze did a really good job getting a lot of shots on him. He could have finished him off, but maybe a little RNG. Maybe he was a little bit twitchy fingers there, but he didn't quite finish it.
You can't blame it on the T1.
All right, it's not about his.
Definitely RNG.
All right, definitely every time. I mean, every time I miss, it's got to be RNG. It can't be my own skill.
Definitely not.
Voltures is pushed into the eastern village at this time. Some good positions. They're actually waiting to see if there's going to be any advancement from the red team. The red position looks like they've taken the city at this time. And the light tank that is scouting for the blue team.
T69's going to blow up Blaze Zero right now. There we go.
First blood has been declared, and that is a side of Blaze Zero. So the red team, War and Peace, does take the advantage, taking down one of those scouts. Some of you may be thinking, that's just a T1. Every tank matters in this game. This is World of Tanks. This is a 7x42 type format for competition. This is esports, so everything matters in these games.
Especially on this map, I feel like entry is one of the most important parts. Of course, the city. There's so many different places to entry, and if you're slightly out of position and you have 5 tanks shooting on 4 tanks, that's a big, big, gigantic difference. We do have the AMX 1390 coming up from behind. It's going to meet up with 2 T69s. This is pretty outrageous play.
Yeah, but we do have Mythical and a T1 way out of position. He's going to get collapsed on in a second. I suspect the IS-3s are going to try and hold their shots and just ram him. Or wait, maybe they'll just push him into John, who will get him in a T1. He looks like he's coming back out towards the road.
He does.
Or back towards the base. Never mind.
IS-3's pinpointing the shot. Evaporates. Send a letter to his family. That is game over for that light little tank. It is now tied up. Tanks that are still left alive because only one T1 has gone down on each side.
Well, actually, we've got... Oh, wow, Torvald. Is he still alive? No.
Looks like 2 more tanks have been spotted on the side of blue. IS-3 is just around the corner, peeking here. Shots being fired back towards that area, but they're going to bug out. They're going to move back towards the city area. Blue is moving into a position to cap the red point.
Oh.
Nice shots on the IS-3 again. Oh, hits! Ripper 54 takes a huge hit to his tank. Now Jammer 94 moved just in front of him. Very smart play to absorb that damage for his friend, sharing that HP. Shots being fired back and forth. AC Dub taking more hits from the tanks behind with the AMX 1390. And now these IS-3s might move out to try to get the killing blow. However, that T-69 is peeking just behind that corner.
Yeah, Patriot 2000. He might come up here and try to get some back shots, and he will look to see the AMX 1390 and the IS-3. IS-3 very smartly went to that small little ridge, but is it going to be enough?
Well, at this point, the best idea is to probably jump all over Petril because he is out alone. There are IS-3s on the other side, which means if you're surrounded, find the guy and jump on him while he's alone, blow him up, and he's a free kill almost.
That's right, and that's what Outrageous is doing right now. He is right next to him. Can he unload his shots?
But he is doing it alone. An IS-3 should probably be trying to back him up because here is Spirit coming up to back up Petril. If IS-3s were here, Petril would be down, and we might be able to get some nice shots on Spirit.
Very nice, but you know what? Petril was clipping during that, I do believe. Didn't shoot anything at the AMX 1390, so it was probably a big timing just to take him out.
It was well timed by Outrageous, but I think they probably could have gotten a lot more with that if they moved those IS-3s out. They're not really doing much at that corner.
Two IS-3 tag team right here. Ripper 54 and Jammer 934 holding that same corner position. Again, they could put any sort of pressure against the red team by moving in, but they could be completely exposed if they did so, because when you put your tank on an enemy cap point, it is broadcasted to everyone else that it is being captured.
And we've got Jammer actually trying to play a nice game of what I was talking about earlier with the IS-3, reverse angling. He's using it, he's making it so the enemy's going to have to shoot his side, not his front armor, in order to get the right shot. So you see how he's backing out like this? Now he could turn around so that his back armor was there, and that you'd also have a nice angle there, but he's also got this nice flat armor with the front of his IS-3. It's a really easy shot, and actually that's only 110, I believe, millimeters of front armor. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Clutch.
110 on the IS-3.
110, but it's out of the pike nose, so you do get a little bit more effective armor. But at this angle, you're going to have about flat 110, which means that these guys are going to pen him if they can manage to sneak a shot right there into the front of his armor.
Great alpha damage. Go ahead, Gretorp.
John is taking church positioning over here. And he will get taken out. Really unfortunate, but this is what I was probably expecting here. AMX 1390 coming in from behind. They are going to swarm. We have an IS-3 by Jammer and Ripper coming up.
Oh, he goes down. Nice shot. Wow. Voltures is in a hurting position. The HP left on Ripper 54 is not good on his IS-3. However, if he is able to land those shots, I was going to try to mention earlier, the alpha damage on the IS-3s, 390 HP. That's something you don't want to go head-to-head against. But these two IS-3s, Ripper and Jammer 94, Ripper taking a bit of the frontal position here to try to absorb any shots since he has more HP. This is very crucial. Now the blue team is moving in to get that capture point. It is Reds. The ball's in Reds' court now to see if they're going to try to push up. AC Dub gets hit, but one of the shots misses from Jammer. Now Spirit with his autoloader gets the kill.
Yep, War and Peace is definitely doing a really good job at creating a crossfire on Jammer here. They've got Acdub and Spirit in such a position that in order for them to really aggress, they're going to have to get themselves into a really bad position. And nice as you can see, they're holding up here, and they're going to start losing a lot of health.
Absolutely. Herbal Thrill is going to really put the point across as he approaches up here, takes out a big chunk of damage on Jammer 934.
From the left, Herbal Thrill is in a prime position to mop up what is left of Team Blue. Moves in for the kill against Jammer. He's going to take the shot. There's a miss. And there's a hit. Herbal Thrill gets the kill. Now it is 3-4 on one. AMX 5100, IS-3 tries to line up the shot, trying to get the turnaround, aiming for the back of the hole. Now they're in brawl mode, moving back and forth. Another shot hits against the 486 HP against the untouched IS-3. Herbal Thrill's in such a great position to take down what's left of the AMX 5100, and there is the kill. Incredible turnaround from War and Peace in that match.
Indeed, and a wonderful play by that IS-3, and I feel like some 5100 play could have been a lot stronger. I mean, we saw a lot of misses and bounces against IS-3s, but we also saw some really nice play out of some IS-3s. We saw some hold down from, what was that? That was Acdub? Yeah, Active actually played a really nice hull down IS-3, and that was really, really effective. You saw numerous shots just hitting dirt, going over, bouncing off of his turret. A few penned, but he played his tank really strong and made himself a very small target, which really helped because those 5100s missed so many shots.
How do you think Vulture could have executed that last attack a little bit better? Because they had the T1 and the AMX. Was it a 1500 or the 1390? I think it was the 1390 come up from inside of the city.
Yeah.
Should they have all come from inside the city, or was their play correct?
Definitely. I think more tanks should have gone back through the city, and there they probably could have had a more a greater effect and a better approach. Approaching from the outside of the cap, like what was it? That was War and Peace. The way they did was probably not the strongest move. They probably could have gone back through the city, come back at a safer route, and left some tanks out there, but not all of of their meat out there who had to cross that open field.
It's still anybody's game. It's still anybody's game here. It's tied 1-1. We're going to be right back, folks. Get a drink of water because it's been so exciting for us here. And we're going to return with battle number 3 for match number 2 of World of Tanks. Don't go anywhere. I'm ready. He's ready. Ruukil's ready. The players are ready. Let's go ahead and start the match. This is going to be battle number 3 of match number 2 tonight for the first qualifiers of Season 1 of the Wargaming.net League North America. Vultures versus War and Peace on the map that is Himmelsdorf.
Yep, Himmelsdorf. I'm looking forward to this one. I think I got a feeling. I know. I want to see something cool. And I'm thinking they might show me something.
You want to see something cool? You want to see something cool?
I want to see something cool.
Let's see what Himmelsdorf looks like in this cool map intro.
Right.
Different positions these different teams are going to take.
Exactly. All right. So right now we've actually got what I saw some pings. So I'm thinking we're going to see some movement towards the hill, and I saw a few other pings. I'm feeling like maybe we're going to have. I think that was for the T1s. We're going to see a T1 up to the hill and a T1 to watch that 8 line. Now, remember seeing that earlier. That's a really tough place to try and pass through. In the meantime, we've got a west movement for the rest of these heavies. They're going to group up over here and watch down these lanes. And these heavies are going to watch the across the open here. Whilst at the same time, we're actually going to have a rush right down the 8 line. So we need to get right to that. There we are.
Rush indeed. IS-3 moving in here. T-32 and IS-6 and an IS-3.
Purple Thrill will spot things out, and we're going to have our first engagement very fast. You can see.
Ooh, Vendetta 68 crosses the line of doom there. No shots really land except on Jared.
Wow.
And they're going to find that tractor. He's going to go down quickly. Bam! It shoots through the entire tank and lands on the other side of the building. Nothing left, folks.
And you can already see War and Peace were not ready for this blitz. A lot of tanks isolated all the way on the western side, not able to punish for pushing the west side so fast.
I'm really surprised today. We're seeing a lot of aggressive strats, and they're working out in the favor of a lot of these aggressive teams. We're actually seeing this. I'm giving this right now to Outrageous and his guys. They are doing a great job. They're going to be able to surround Herbal Thrill and Act Up, and we're going to see possibly a move in.
All on the western flank. The L Tractor is able to move up. Did not see any enemy movement, so they know on the western side that things are pretty clear. And now some shots fired against the T-69. Tractor has a little bit of a bite. I don't think he was able to land anything, but it made the T-69s think twice. Betrayal in 2000 and Spirit AW are bugging out of there as they try to get the surround. Another blue tank goes down. Vendetta 68 is going to be completely surrounded in the IS-3. This is not good for Vendetta.
But this is actually the perfect move. I mean, Herbal, Royal, and Act Up went around that corner. They realized they were surrounded, and they made the right move. And they nuked the tank just like that. That was the right move. It was very well executed. Now Spirit and Betrayal should be moving in. And they should be cleaning up. This should go in their favor now. Mythical, Spirit, and their guys, they've all turned this around. This has been a really good job on their part. They could still bring it out though. So this could go either way.
Shot and killed though. IS-3 and T-69, Spirit and Royal Reserve are now going to get the surround on Outrageous. S9, AC Dub, and the IS-3 barely has been hit. IS-6 taking some more damage. Outrageous getting lined up. Misses the shot, though, against the T-69 Betrayal
beautiful.
2000.
Spirit
Wow.
blocks for Patrial. And you can see he was only one shot away, just about, from being dead, but a really nice body block there. And he's going to stay alive. Now just 2 left. And I would think that if they were T1 Cunninghams, maybe they would have a chance. But
you're funny, buddy.
There's only one.
Yeah.
The IS-3 is going. He sees his prey like a lion to the gazelle. Completely destroyed. And now only 1 blue left. He's trying to escape as fast as he can. He's not able to. He is dead. And that's the match. War and Peace takes it. It is now it's not tied. It's 2-1 in favor of War and Peace. They break the tie as 1-1. Ruukil, I have to say, I was impressed with the initial blitz, as Gretorp said, on the side of Voltage. But the complete turnaround on War and Peace, they were able to handle it, get the surrounds they needed, and completely destroy that Blitzkrieg.
Yeah, that was actually a really good situation in which a team that blitzed was actually undone by the fact that the attack by the team that they was defending actually made the correct move in counter to being surrounded. When they were surrounded, they made the perfect move, and they broke out, jumped on one team, and destroyed that group, and then were able to turn around as the other tanks came in and take them on. They were able to break their enemy up and divide and conquer. It was perfect. It was great.
That's one thing. When you blitz, you're entering territory of already set up positions.
Yeah.
So they could be coming from anywhere. Obviously, if you're split up the slightest bit, you can be instantly isolated and taken out. Really well done.
Yeah, possibly we could have seen a little bit faster move on that blitz. We could have jumped on some other tanks, and there could have been, and that could have really pushed it in. But a little bit of hesitation and a little bit of they lost the element of surprise there, which allowed War and Peace to really take that one back. I mean, it was great.
All right, well, the match is not over yet. That was only Battle 3. War and Peace is up 2-1. However, it's still anybody's game. We're going to take a quick break. We come back. It's going to be Battle number 4. Stay tuned. Yo, dog, we heard you like steps, so we put a step in your step.
We put it in. We put it in when you least expect it.
Oh, man, it's going to be like Ohana. Gosh.
Do you know what steps means in Basa Malay?
What?
Family.
Oh, it does. Great. 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 All right, well, we're going to start game battle number 4 here pretty soon as we look at the different takes here. As soon as they start picking them, I believe what I've been informed from the admins, the last match we have scheduled for tonight, Bear Huggers versus the Scrubs, we're actually going to have that played off the stream. Because on the East Coast, it could get kind of late for these players.
Yeah.
We still have River of Blood versus Trunk Monkey scheduled after this, so we apologize that we can't have that game broadcasted to you, but the results will be posted in the brackets after they were reported, and we thank Bear Huggers and the Scrubs for their patience, and I look forward to see who's going to be the victor between that match.
This is round of 256 and 128 today.
128 and 64 today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're right. 128 and 64. Tomorrow will be round of 32 and round of 16.
I believe so, and we'll have more matches to choose from that I think will get better and better and better as more teams are weeded out.
It can only get better, right?
It only gets better.
Only gets better, man.
It only gets better.
If this is the worst of the tournament, we're in for a real treat.
We're in for a real treat, man. And again, I want to remind everyone, this is only the qualifier. So as important as this is and as thrilled we are to be here to broadcast this to you, the league play begins July 11th, where 8 teams from the qualifiers, 4 from this qualifier and 4 from qualifier number 2, will face off against the 8 invited teams, 2 of which we have announced, Fulcrum Gaming and Wreak Havoc. We showed Fulcrum Gaming tonight. We had Nagatron. Hopefully we'll have somebody from another team that's been invited tomorrow night. So you get to have a better sense of who these players are as they'll represent their teams and soon their regions as they are actually able to accumulate points by winning the seasons in North America to determine who's going to go to the grand finals later on, I believe in February of next year. Mm-hmm. That's going to be fantastic. I hope we get to go.
Absolutely.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Anyway, we are going to step into game number 4 right now. 2-1 up in favor of War and Peace. And the map is?
Prokhorovka.
Thank you.
You know, I bet Soviet's watching and he's thinking, no, clutch. It's Prokhorovka. And to me, it kind of sounds the same, but how you pronounce it is important. I take it very, I take it personally, how to pronounce things correctly. I speak 2 languages, English and Spanish. I mean, I'm
Two and a half.
2.5. I'm learning Korean right now, so after this, I have to choose either between Chinese and Russian.
I would go with Chinese.
Yeah.
The only reason why I say that is because Chinese is the most spoken language.
That's true.
I mean,
but World of Tanks is an international language too, and I'm learning that language as well, and it's a lot of fun to learn.
it is a lot of fun to learn. It is a lot.
Ruukil, let's go ahead and jump in the game, see a couple of the tanks that are picked so far. Not any big surprises here. T1's chose on the side of Team 2. Now an AMX 51. Again, this AMX 5100 on Prokhorovka. Intriguing kind of choice. A T2 Light has been chosen on the side of Team 1. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the stats of T2 Light. Ruukil, your thoughts so far, not just on this match, but overall, what do you think of this event?
Well, I'm having a good time. It's kind of fun. I'm really having a fun up here, and it's cool to be with you guys.
Is it nerve-wracking? Are you?
I'm a lot less nervous than I thought I was going to be.
It's a little hot under these lights.
Oh God, I'm burning up in here. I'm glad.
See, that's what we secretly do. We make you extremely hot, so you forget that you're actually on screen.
I completely forgot I was on screen.
Like,
I look at the camera here, and I'm hi guys, and I'm only looking because the fan is right under it. Oh, fan.
Oh.
Well, you will be tested in time and sweat, as they say in the world of theater, man. As an actor, when you first get on stage after your tech rehearsal and all the lights are put in, you have to stay in your certain spot, and you have a big dance number. Afterwards, you realize, wow, it's about 30 degrees hotter in this theater because of it. But that's part of performing, man. When the heat is on, the heat is on.
But we don't perform here. We live.
We live. Here. This is life. This is
we live freedom. We breathe it. We smell it. It's delicious, and it smells like World of Tanks.
Game is almost ready to go. Bringing up the stats real quick, the T2 Light is built in the United States in 1934. HP 150. Top speed is 72 kilometers an hour. Hull 17, 15, and 16 millimeters. Not much when it comes to armor. Turret 16, 16, 16. It's a little bit better. Uses 20 millimeter Hispano-Suiza Berget M1. I'm sure I didn't say that correctly, but I tried. Damage 12-12, penetration 30-41. Rate of fire, get this. I have it down as 108.96 rounds per minute. It's a very quick scout tank.
108.
Yeah, 108. 108.
Wow.
That's pretty fast.
That's like every second you're doing like 1.8, 1.9, something like that. 1.9 shots.
It does have poor view range though, so you got to be kind of up close.
We don't talk about that. We just talk about the goods.
All right. There's no cons in the Team 2.
No cons.
T2.
And let's
jump back into the game. Let's look at the rest of the tanks that have been picked here. On the side of Team 1, we have a WZ-132.
We're actually ready to go, so why don't we just jump straight in?
Go ahead and start.
All right, we're going to jump straight in. And here we go.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the tanks real quick, though. Object 261, AMX 5100 times 2, AMX 1390. Rest of the tanks, WZ-132 T1, then a T69, WZ-132, another WZ-132, VK-2801, T2 Light, and T2 Light. Let's go ahead and take a look at the beautiful Prokhorovka.
Last time we saw Prokhorovka, we had an artillery. This time, not so much. Actually,
one team's bringing a 261.
Object 261, man.
Oh, yeah.
You can't miss that. It's huge.
I'm a dirty, rotten scoundrel.
Yeah, actually, we've got a nice scout run coming up. I think we're going to see a double loop all the way across the mid as we see a bunch of light tanks head off west. This is an interesting team split. But on a map like this, I think both teams can get away with being a little bit divided up until they begin their fights. So why don't we jump in and see where these scouts are going?
All right, let's go and jump on John 115, the 115 HP T1 Cunningham, Gretorp's favorite tank. He's going to be able to scout a couple things here coming up the hill if he's lucky. Hopefully he won't get spotted and taken out easily. It is a really good vantage point to use. I actually love going up this hill in pub games until I'm destroyed by tank destroyers. But the WZ-132 does get the first kill, gets Blaze 0. The first blood goes to War and Peace. Death Warmed Over, who we're following now, the WZ-132, super awesome traverse speed. We'll try to follow up the AMX 1390, excuse me, and continue to move back and forth to try to scout anything that is moving in his position.
We've actually got some really great map control out of War and Peace right now. I like their positioning. Even though they don't have an artillery, they're doing a great job of pushing Vultures right back into their own little land and taking control of the west. So there we are with a 1390 versus WZ132. These are the two scouts of Tier 8 right now. There is quite an argument going about which one is the best. I think it's the 1390.
Vendetta 68, the AMX 5100 destroys AC Dub. The T2 Light, Death Warmed Over, did take the shot in the WZ132. John at 115 trying to take some shots at the 1390, taking some hits as well. Outrageous 69, the AMX 1390 gets a kill against Mythical 152. Let's go ahead and fly over and get closer to the action here. Too fast. All right, WZ132, the AMX 1390, like you said, Ruukil, fighting it out over these train tracks. Who's going to get that shot?
Although I really think that move over the tracks was way too aggressive. There is such a thing as too much aggression. You can get yourself killed. They went right on over. One of the easiest shots for that artillery to make is that downward slope that we see that we see the tank wreck on. It's so easy to put a shot right there.
WZ132 tries to take out the scat. John able to get away. It does. No, he got killed. I'm sorry. That was, I believe, it might have been a blind shot. I know he had a trace of him, but he went out a little bit. But now they're going to maybe receive this AMX 1390. I don't think so. It's really hard, as we were saying, to get over these train tracks and be aggressive because it just leaves you so open. Ruukil, as you said, with the... well, with everything, honestly.
Well, the 261 gets the easiest shots. I mean, Artie can be kind of difficult to play. Not, well, let's I'm going to get yelled at for that by half the player base. Clickers are what they're called. But it is easier to get shots when the enemy is on a downward slope right at you. It's just, the reticle looks
nice shot by Betrayal 2000, waiting for Outrageous S9 to just hit the crest of the hill. He's going to move back, though, because he took some hits himself. The WZ132 still in a power play. If Spirit AW is able to take the frontal position, he hides in a bush. Outrageous S9 does lose track of him. However, he knows he's there. Oh, Spirit AW moving in for the kill. T69 trying to get on the outside flank of Outrageous S9. Will he move over? No, he will simply back up. Whoa! Artillery
he has a little bit of time right now. While the artillery is loading, he could choose to try to get up on there and shoot down the AMX 1390, but no. Is he going to? Yeah, he's going to go. Nope.
But elsewhere on the map, Death Warmed Over and Herbal Thrill are having their own skirmish where Death takes a hit from Herbal Thrill. But he's going to actually run away and maybe go jump on Spirit.
Oh! Artillery shot completely destroys the T69 on the red team trying to move up the crest of the hill. Beautiful patience demonstrated by Outrageous S9 with his teammate, and now with another red tank destroyed, the blue team can have a little bit more confidence.
Now Patriel is going to try to take out the AMX 1390. Course,
but now Outrageous has shots into Herbal Thrill. A great flank shot right here. And another hit. Is that Artie kill again?
Possibly here. WZ132. Nice hit from the Artie doing his job. Oh, another tank does go down. Two tanks still left alive. A T2 and a Tier 6. Excuse me, Tier 2 and a Tier 6 on War and Peace. However, 5 tanks still left alive. Death Warmed Over is trying to get the hits on the VK 2801. He takes another shot from far behind. WZ132 moving in. Death Warmed Over trying to get that hit in his WZ132. Torvald moving as fast as he can across the map. However, Vultures are living up to their name, trying to get to the body of Torvald and gets the kill. Only one left alive. It is a Tier 2. Royal Reserve.
He's just been chilling over there for the whole game, just catching the flank, but of course no flank came. Instead, the rest of his team died.
Yeah, real good Artie play this time. I mean, those two hits, those won the map.
Yep, the Object 261 did get 2 kills already. I'm sure plenty amount of damage. We'll have to check those stats after the game, Gretorp, but performing very, very well for his team.
Hey, Object 261s have been really good on Prokhorovka.
Prokhorovka, but yes, Prokhorovka's close enough.
Yeah, most of the, aside from the train tracks, most every other hill, you can't really hide behind. There's a few good spots, and you saw those hits right over the train tracks.
And the victory goes to Vultures, man. Very nice play indeed.
It's really good job on that, Artie.
My God, look at that damage. And even the AMX 1390 that we've been tracking the whole time, Outrageous playing that. 2,200 damage being dealt, 2,400 damage, almost 25 by Rax. On that Object 261, fantastic play by those two players.
That's how you play artillery. Yeah. Would you say it's just a clicker after that?
Yeah, I was, you know, people call them clickers.
Yes, they are.
No, but, I mean, death from above. Artie like that, an Object 261 Tier 8 Artie. Those are getting moved up in the next 8.6 patch. And so that's maybe
You
a little
think
bit of
for
an
good
Artie
reason,
nerf.
or
Oh,
it's unfortunate?
it's a good reason, I think. I think there needs to be Artie up to tier 10, and the 261 probably belongs up there at tier 10.
Yeah.
It's for 8 points. That's a lot of strength. I mean, they've been nerfed into the ground, but you know, maybe we need that kind of balance.
I look forward to those changes, and I look forward to how the community reacts. We're going to take a quick little break. We come back. It is match point, game number 5. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Wargaming.net League North America, Season 1, Qualifier 1. A lot of really intense matches so far. That Object 261 did some incredible work that last game.
That's right.
I want to go over the stats real quick, Gretorp, because I have them written down here. This is a Soviet-type artillery built in 1947. Armor, hull, 75, 50, and 30. But again, don't really care that much about the armor with this type of tank. We want to talk about the damage it can deal out. 1,700 for its first kind of shells. 1,100 for the second, 1,700. And the max potential penetration I have down is 360. This does work, and we saw it in that last match. High accuracy, extremely fast shell. You know, the shell speeds can make a difference in this game. When to aim, how to lead your target. And it's got a flat trajectory shell travel, though. So it doesn't arc as much, but it was able to hit where it needed to hit as soon as they peeked over those hills. Great artillery to have.
Definitely so.
Played it really, really effectively. I like that. I just having a good Artie on a tournament team is essential, because on those open maps, whether it's a Bison or whether you're taking a 261, all tier 8 points that you can put into Artie. I mean, getting hits with those Artie is so effective. It's so it can change the match, and it can throw it. I've known matches where the Artie carries the team. Carries them so hard that I'm amazed his back is not broken. His barrel isn't bent. I mean, it is amazing what a really good Artie player can do. And I love when I play a scout to have the best Artie right behind me. I get everything lit for him, and he shoots them. And I love watching the little minus signs come up over the tanks. It works. It's a good feeling.
It's funny when you first start playing World of Tanks, when you're in a tank and your crew will tell you, our gun is jammed, or this has happened. Like, no, what do I press? How do I fix it? And I haven't played that much of the SPGs yet. I played a couple. I was testing out I believe it's called the 4041, the Bat Chat 155, the Lorraine, just to see how they felt. And you feel almost invincible until a light tank finds you and then destroys you. You know, but that
Or your whole team dies.
Or your whole team dies,
yeah,
of course.
That's the worst.
You know, the satellite type mode of how they aim to be able to see over the terrain and lock in the different positions. It's a different type of experience compared to playing any other type tank, and it's really another level of gameplay.
You know, another thing that Arties really have an advantage of is seeing top down and also seeing if anything is broken.
That's
including
true.
Fences, trees,
houses.
It gives you some sort of idea where your opponents are going. So immediately, if you know where you want to place your Artie, you go on cruise control, you put it, you know, directly over there, and then you just scout around the map, seeing, okay, where are my opponents, where are knockdown stuff, how can I adjust my opponent's army and tell them, or how can I adjust our army and tell them where to go or where they can be.
And in TeamSpeak, a valuable tool to use, or any type of chat program to tell your team, hey, guess what? Trees are going down in E5. Get ready for some type of movement. Some players are, they don't really like that in that type of play, especially competitive play. Ruukil, I think you've heard arguments on both sides. You know, if both teams have artillery, they have the option to have that skill, to have that viewpoint.
Yeah, it's having Artie is nice because you can see every part of the map, and you can get a lot of intelligence out of that. Some people, and now I'm saying it's not a majority of the player base, but a very loud minority who hates
AKA
Artie.
Reddit.
Yeah, a large part of them Reddit. There's a few famous, notable people in the community who are very loud. They hate Artie. I really don't like that. I don't understand how you can hate something that's part of the game quite so much, but they really do. And they call them clickers. They call them all sorts of mean things. But I mean, Artie's Artie, and they're part of the game. So
you know what we call it here?
What?
We call it meta, which means meta game.
Oh.
That's what they are.
Oh, so
Let's look at the meta game right now of the different tanks that have been chosen for the different teams as they're waiting for the last number of picks. On Team 1, which is Voltures, we have the IS-3, T-69, some IS-3s, and again, the L-Tractor making a return. 2 of them, actually. On Team 2, which is War and Peace, T-69, AMX 5100, 2 T1s and an IS-3 chosen so far. Waiting for a couple more picks here. More IS-3s being chosen, actually more in favor on Team 1, the Vultures, compared to the AMX 5100. That autoloader versus the steady high spike damage is, an intriguing type of matchup. But when a shell misses or ricochets in that type of one-on-one match of an autoloader AMX 5100 versus an IS-3, that's when it gets hairy.
Yeah, but Ruukil actually told me the very best players will not ricochet, even against the IS-3s. I mean, yes, it is very difficult, but they know exactly where to point their holster. They know exactly how to approach the tank, and you will get a far less volatility in those shots. But already, I mean, the IS-3s picked up by War and Peace, probably facilitating going to the western part. Of course, picking up the T-69 AMX 50-100. They could still go towards the western side, but it looks like they're
just to clarify,
side.
Team 1 is War and Peace, and Team 2 is Vultures. I said at first the Vultures was choosing the IS-3s. It's actually Vultures sticking with the AMX 5100s, kind of their trademark tank that they've been using a lot. Looking at the rest of the picks here, IS-3 has been chosen, so it's going to be 3 IS-3s for War and Peace, and an AMX 1390 for Outrageous chosen for Vultures. They have one more pick. And
no, that actually, I believe that will do them one.
Oh, that's it.
That's it, yeah.
That is it.
There we go. They have an extra guy on the team. They've been having me switch him up and down. So
okay.
It's it just takes a second to figure
We
out.
allow 10 players per team, but only 7 play. So you have 3 backups in case there's an emergency or something, which is great because having backups is important, especially of any kind of roster. You look at football teams, baseball teams, soccer teams, or football internationally. You have to have backups because anything can happen. And we wanted to have that option available. Wargaming wanted to have that option available for the different players. So, Ruukil, as soon as you're ready, we'll go ahead and start the map.
Yep, checking with the players, making sure they're good. Once they're good, we're going to start. So I'm just waiting for the go-ahead, and we'll jump right into this battle.
Okay.
On Ensk to finish this up. We'll see who takes it.
I would say Ensk. I would say Ensk incorrectly. I'd say Ensk. I put a G in there for some reason, maybe because I was thinking of...
Are you going for angst?
Angst, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Mansk, yeah.
We're so used to saying Manx.
I know. I know.
All right, so we're ready to go. Let's go into this battle.
All right. Kick it off. Game number 5, ladies and gentlemen.
This
is it 5?
It. Match point.
Wow,
Match point between these two. This is match
2-2,
number 2. Battle number 5 here. As always, we want to show you how pretty these maps are, how well designed they are. So let's go ahead and show you guys Ensk.
All right, so I'm going to show you guys a little bit more about the map. Like I've shown you before, this map is divided into 2 parts. We've got a line that I can draw right down the middle, split it east and west. Looks like we've got a west side movement for the north, and for the south, it looks like, I'm guessing they're going to go to the other side. We're going to see another map where teams are going to have to play that flip-floppy game
Ring
again.
around the rosy.
Ring around the whole map. But we actually, I'm liking this this north setup. It's really nice. So why don't we see what the T1 in the south is actually looking at? I want to see what he's looking at. If he's going to spot, and I think that is tanks up.
Oh, John is actually over to the west of the map right now, hiding in the apartment complexes. I think these people have seen some better days. They should be getting cheaper rent after the amount of shells that have been hitting the different complexes. And if we skip on over to the other T1, Blaze Zero, blazing a trail up there on the east side, sticking close between the train depot, the closed down depot, and the train tracks themselves. Nothing has been scouted yet, it looks like.
He's hesitating, trying to check the corners, make sure he's going to be safe when he goes around. There's most likely, every time you go around on either side of this map, you're going to find a T1 somewhere. Generally, both teams will split their T1s up, put them on opposite sides of the map, at the very least as a tripwire. So that he's probably going to die, but at least you know where the enemy is when they do that.
Bit of diagonal positioning, it looks like right now, kind of a mirror positioning here. The red team, War and Peace, spread out a little bit more than the blue team. The 2 T1s, however, up to the the eastern corner by one of them is still behind. Not just the T1s, the light tanks. Rageous S9, let's go ahead and find his position here. He is one of the AMX 1390s in the map, and he is cruising along the north side. He does spot the L tractor. This will be an easy kill for him.
Yep, just he has to watch out that someone's not covering the lull tractor, and we're going to see a good hit for like maybe 390, 400.
Whoa, he
something.
missed! Outrageous
Oh.
S9 missed!
Oh!
There we go, and that's actually what I was going to talk about some other time. 1390 I considered a very difficult tank to play because it gets such an outrageous reticle. You get these huge shots that go way off target, so a good player has to let their shots, they have to let them settle, and they have to know what shots they can waste and what shots they have to hold.
You cannot get overconfident in this game whatsoever, because a missed shell like that and an auto-loader, that is not good at all.
Blaze Zero is going to be taken out, though, by Spirit. So a little bit of...
That's a trade right there.
Quality, yeah. But yeah, the MX 1390, I can't believe that.
That view range spotting a T69 out like
It's
that.
okay. He's like, it's sorry, guys, it's late. We've had a lot of matches. I'm sorry I missed, but they were able to get the kill. One death on each side at this moment. Mythical 152 and Blaze Zero, both the T1 Cunninghams are down.
But you know, as you were saying before, it could be because he was just a little bit apprehensive that someone was covering that L tractor. So he was just trying to get the fire off. He was like, yeah, I'm probably going to get the shot. And of course he didn't.
Mythical, the L tractor,
but
not
that's why you
T1
let it settle, because if you waste that shot, there's a huge opportunity missed.
Exactly.
It's just important to approach the situation right. He could have actually swept in to the point where his reticle would have been, no matter how big, his gun would have been sticking into the tank.
Ooh, shots fired. Rex almost hit here. An incredible type positioning right now for Vultures. They are not moving. They are set up. And now Vendetta 68 is going to move slightly ahead in the AMX 5100. They are covering all positions of any type of flanking movement at this time. Vendetta 68 may move a little bit more out here. No, he's just simply backing up, biding their time. They are, I don't want to say a hold down position because their holes are actually covered, but they are in a dig in position for their tanks.
Yep, although on the other side of the map, John is making headway. However, I think they really should consider getting their tanks behind John. We've got a bunch of tanks over in G7-8 area, not doing much of anything, but we have some great scouting happening. We really should be seeing some heavy movement out of John. And we've got Jared, Vendetta, Death Warrior, all sitting back there, not doing much of anything.
Actually,
really,
with John being spotted, you can actually see Patriel pushing back. They're kind of anticipating some sort of attack coming in from all the way on the eastern side. You can see L Tractor being played by Torvald. Is really checking things.
And
but
here's
John
and John.
Oh, man.
Oh.
John backing up as fast as he can. He's able to escape. Will he know the T69 is moving around? Petrail takes the shot and gets the kill.
Now he's even got time to reload. If we'd had some IS-3s maybe a grid square away, they could have taken advantage of that wasted shot on a T1. I mean, that's a shot on a T1.
Yeah.
That's as far as Vultures could be concerned, that could be a throwaway shot.
They can't take advantage of that.
Yeah, they can't take
they
advantage.
Just have no development of
and
their
they're
army.
only now moving around the backside of the map, taking the widest route they can to prevent from being spotted.
And Patriel was able to go over there, attack, and then come back, probably finishing reloading right now.
Oh, he's done. He's going to be done by the time anything happens.
Yeah, so really fortunate right there with John just being thrown away.
Yeah, so right now we've actually got a lot of that T1 killing play. Both teams are trying to get out each other's scouts and take down their T1 so they can get map control and then abuse it on the other team. But we have seen a lot of mistakes made already. We've got 2 T1s down. Vultures have lost their T1s. That's a lot of map control. That's a lot of cap pressure they could have, especially if they want to start a fight at an opportune time.
Wow, this is a bold move. Spirit and Patriel are pushing across into the west.
Into the east.
Oh, yes, into the east.
Oh, yeah, but they're not going to find anything.
No, they're not, because Vultures is all the way down to the southwest and have positioned themselves behind the buildings, trying to scout whatever they can, and the IS-3 Royal Reserve has been seen in the quadrant of D3, D4.
So why did they push across there? I mean, I feel like that is such a risky move. I mean, I'm on War and Peace's side, so I can't see what they're doing, but it just felt like crossing the train tracks. They're only going as 2. Retreating is very limited. I mean, what's going on in their mind?
I think they might have been trying to jump on a 1390 that they were hoping would be caught out of position, but of course Outrageous wasn't full enough to stay in one position for too long. He knew that if he got spotted, the enemy would know where he was, and he should probably leave. Sticking in one place for too long, camping around, not making moves, is a good way to get yourself countered. Yeah, getting countered and killed. Teams can just dig you out of your position, and they have all the time in the world to deal with you. Luckily, though, Voltures made the right move, and they got out of their old position, have set up a new one.
Shots fired. L-Tractor is down. Torvald and Mythical, the 2 deaths on the side of War and Peace. Blaze Zero and John115. That means that the tier points are at the same value. One tier 8 has to go down on either side, and that will be the match point and the victory for this match. We'll have to see if the blue team will simply wait it out, if the red team will move it into any position. If War and Peace does go all the way to the east side, they could maybe move in towards the flag capture, but Vultures could simply fall back, find them in a very opportune time for Vultures, get some clean shots in, and take the victory. Both teams playing cautious here because they know they will be eliminated if they lose this battle.
Yep, 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. I can't believe how time flies, man. I had not expected to be at 2 minutes left in a match like this. Although I really had hoped that we'd see more of an engagement. But when teams pick opposite sides of the map like this, it's a real problem on ends. You can't. There's no easy way to cross at the middle of the map, and teams are split up into lanes with very solid walls separating them. So we lost a few minutes there. There's some tier 1s gone down, but that's to be expected with that kind of movement.
It might be that both these teams are going to wait it out here. It will end in a draw if the minute and 46 seconds does go down to 0.
Yeah, well, it does make a lot of sense, though. I mean, there's a lot of AMX 50-100s, actually 2 AMX 50-100s over there, so just let it go down a little bit and then maybe try to attack their opponents since they can't reload it directly after that.
At this point, I'm pretty sure we're going to go
completely
to a draw.
To attack.
Although I'd like to see some kind of movement. This is kind of the point in a game at which I would say, you know what, guys, let's take what's left of the match. Let's try and grab 8 points. We'll play it safe, but we still need to make moves. I mean, there's not enough time for the enemy to really do a cap fast. We know where they aren't, which is, well, only a quarter of the map, really. But at the same time, there's so much they could be doing. They have a 1390 scout. He could be doing stuff right now. He's not. He's actually farthest back in the corner.
He is. He's the furthest away from the front lines.
There is a bush up ahead of him that would be such a better position. He could get. That's 50 meters right there. No, 75 meters that he could have of spotting range. I mean, he wouldn't spot any of them, but that's more space.
Sure.
You want to try and find better positions. He could have been more efficient with his scouting, and I really think he should be moving out, but he isn't, and it bothers me.
Well, 30 seconds left, now 27. It's going to go down to a draw, folks, but that's okay. It means that we will replay the same map. They can have a different type of tank composition with their picks, but there needs to be a victor declared here. And sometimes if an engagement doesn't go your way, there's no reason to throw it if it can end in a draw. 9 seconds left on the clock. No movement's going to happen for both the teams. They realize it's going to be a draw here, and we'll set up that next game as soon as we can, folks, to continue this match, to continue this series, to give you guys a victor of who's going to move in from the round of 128 to the round of 64. Ruukil, you were not hesitant at all to express your discontent. Yeah, you can say discontent, disappointment, but these players, the pressure's on. I mean, this is the most professional league in North America. You can't fault them for wanting to win. We're going to take a quick little break. We come back. We're going to have the re-up of this match for you guys. Don't go anywhere. The obvious can always be the most effective when it works, but also when you want to surprise your team or your team's opponents or your opponents. It's getting late. When you want to surprise people, when you go for the not obvious, it's quite a challenge to try to fix that. You know, with the Object 261, how well it's doing in artillery. With the AMX 5100s we've seen played for Voltage, Vultures, excuse me. I really like to see the type of surprises these different teams have in the qualifiers.
That's right, and
that's right. And the matches begin. Let's go ahead and jump into it, ladies and gentlemen. Ra-X and Vendetta 68. So we're going to follow first here in the AMX 50s. I don't think there's any changes. There was one change. Actually, John115 decided to go for a Bison. Artillery has been chosen on this map.
All right, strong Bison setup. We're going to expect a lot of east control out of that. So what they'll try and do there is I'm expecting a nice east push. And followed up maybe with a little play, and then they'll use the Bison to soften their enemy up. But what's happening on the other side
Well, we'll go ahead and take a look at what Gretorp's able to see on his side of the map. It looks like they're spreading out. Different positions there. One is staying behind, and a couple IS-3s taking more defensive positions rather than aggressive. No, a couple are moving into some better positions, it looks like.
Yeah, they don't want to completely rush the west side, because obviously you don't want to take unnecessary damage just from pot shots going recklessly up there. But, I mean, they have pretty good west control for sure. I mean, as soon as you see that Bison out there, chances are 95% of the time they're going over to the east. So I think they're pretty safe in moving up. They're just positioning and playing super comprehensive, making sure they don't lose any unnecessary HP.
Vultures, not Voltage, apologize about before, but Vultures are taking that same defensive position in the G8 area as it did in the last game. That T-29 has been chosen by Blaze Zero. That is an intriguing choice, the T-29.
Well, it's the same 105 that you can get on a T-32, but one tier lower. I mean, there's a little bit less health, and it is a bigger profile, but it's still a really good tank. And a good player, you know, a good player could bring a T-29 play just as well as a T-32.
And
That's
we know
right.
the T-32 is fantastic.
That's right. No cons playing the T-32.
No cons.
And if you do research everything for the T-29, a lot of those will go over to the T-32. So if you're playing the American line and want to get some of the best heavy tanks in the game, the T-29 is on that path to great victory of spreading freedom across the battlefield. Now they're going to move out.
So biased.
I am biased. Now they're going to move out here. IS-3, AMX-50s are taking the lead. AMX-50's taking the lead now. IS-3 moving slightly behind. T-29 a little bit faster than the IS-3 in this movement here. And they are going to push, it looks like, against the enemy position on the east. If they've taken the west, L-Tractor staying behind. He's able to scout the movement. Outrageous SN.
There's
S9
a good first shot that time. First shot right on target. Just
there you go.
He let his shot settle this time. He made it count.
And equalizes yet again, and it's the same person. Spirit's going to do it.
That Lol Tractor, Death Warmed Over, is really being, he's too aggressive. His team is not in position to support him when he gets all that far up. His team's all the way back across the tracks, not even in position to cover him, and he's getting spotted and pushed out.
Yeah,
like
John 115 was the amazing scout last time that was hanging out in the center west region. And man, if there was another John 115 clone right now, this would be the game that he needs him, because he's playing the Bison right now. If he had great spotters, he would be raining hell on these tanks.
Well, he was doing all right out there, but it's hard to judge with a T1 like that. I mean, he was really not a good spot, out alone, without support.
All alone, forever alone.
Forever alone.
Life's over.
You know, a good way to think about this.
Nice shot, however. Sorry to interrupt there. AMX 5100 from long range tells Patril 2000, go back to your home. Get back to your cat box. T69 pulling out there. He does.
He goes back to his houses, back to his little suburb over there.
You know, one thing to note about having the Bison out, you only need about like two or three shots to make it worthwhile. Remember, it's only one tier point that you're giving up, maybe a little bit more than that, but you're only giving up one tier point. So how much damage are you really doing, more or less, by choosing that T-29 over the T-32? Well, and that's what you have to really ask yourself.
Effectively, they haven't given up any damage because no one's shooting anyone else.
Yes.
So it really doesn't matter.
Through the course of the game, of course, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, through the whole 15 minutes that we're seeing her, you know, it matters for that Bison to really lock on and get some HP removed.
Yeah.
So
Although they really need to be more aggressive on top of this Bison, because the Bison can't carry them to victory. He can only soften the enemies. He doesn't have enough ammo to kill them all. I mean, if he did, Bisons would be spammed. They're like nobody's business.
Like bees.
Like bees.
Bees and Oprah.
Outrageous S9 with a great tactical position behind that bush. He does spot Patril 2000 as he slowly moves around the lumber mill here, knowing that the blue team, Vultures, is in a prime position to put pressure against their cap point here.
Yeah. To tell you the truth, I've been on War and Peace's side for a while, and I haven't been able to spot anybody. There hasn't been any spots for quite a long time.
They know nothing.
They know nothing.
They don't even know the 1390s there?
They don't know the 1390s there.
Wow, so they're only guessing. And we don't see any of their tanks moving to the south to see if there's any type of opening or back scout to see if there's any push from War and Peace on the west side. I hope it's not another standstill here, but again, both teams playing very, very cautiously.
But take notes of all the positioning, right?
Yeah.
This is incredible. Ru, break it down a little bit. What's going on with these two teams?
Let me draw pretty pictures for you. All right, so we've actually got a nice map control. I'll detail it here about this quarter of the map, and then about let's go with another section of the map for Vultures. It's a nice even split, but there's this huge unused portion of the map, which actually we have a T1 moving down now, who I'm expecting to go around into the K line and then start moving around into the backfield. He'll probably go towards cap, and if we can get some cap pressure, maybe we can get a nice screen out of War and Peace. They'll run past the cap, take up positions on the east side of it, and maybe they can get a cap out of this and salvage this really long we haven't really gotten anything out of this.
Well, it looks like War and Peace seeing the T1 moving down, seeing that scout moving down. Torvald is actually not a T1. Let me bring him up here real quick. He is the L tractor, and there is nothing for Vultures to stop any sort of capping movement, cap pressure. But we could almost say the same thing if they leave no one behind. However, they are. They're leaving one heavy tank behind to try to put any pressure against the cap. And now Blue base is under attack. Two tanks are under the capture point with 42 seconds left until they cap. Blue has got to move and make a move quickly if they're going to be able to secure a victory. 36 seconds, 34, 33, 21 with 3+, 19 seconds left to go. Blaze 0, the T29, trying to move as quickly as he can. The blue team is in some serious trouble. 13 seconds left on the clock. Nice shot, however, is hit.
Oh, that was so close. That could have been the cap fast they needed to win it, but
still 24 seconds left, and it looks like there is a reverse cap going on. But still, it's not enough time. 17 seconds, 16 seconds left. Outrageous is going to come down here with his AMX 1390, try to reset the cap. And Blaze 0 looks like he's rearing it up too. Outrageous
S9 gets the hit, 44% down, captures on 3 both sides. However, shots are being exchanged on both sides of the map. Ooh, the AMX 13 does go down, but did he do his job? Blaze 0 on the T29 gets
Blaze
the
0
hit.
Gets it.
He's trying to turn it around. Now another shot is hit against the red team.
Remember that they have that Bison raining some damage that's able to reset the cap every single time. So you can see there's enough margin to win here. 5 seconds until cap. This is it.
This could be it. 5 seconds left to go. They're able to do it.
They need to hold it. They need to hold it.
Oh, they got it at the last second. It has been reset down to 83%, 86, 87, +3 on both sides, 46%. Blaze 0 trying to move into the T29. 100% is it. Can he hold it? The red base is captured. Vultures are able to do it. An amazing play and a turnaround to get the match point. Vultures will be moving on into the qualifier.
Unbelievable. Unreal. I need to look back on that. That was sickness. Now, Ru, is that a position where if they kept one of their T1s alive, they could have potentially messed up that cap? Because I believe, was there an AMX 1500? Yes, there was an AMX 1500
those T1s
and a
can
Bison.
Stop cap. Yeah, the Bison would have been great for stopping cap. And let's actually see, how much did he come into effect?
If we can jump into Gretorp's computer right now to look at the stats, we can show you guys to see what kind of damage they did.
There was base defense of 27 points, base capture points of 0 from the Bison. The 50-100 had 31, though. 31 capture points. So if that T1, any of the T1s were alive, they would have easily reset that. Really unfortunate.
Blaze 0 did a great job in his T29. He had 53 base defense points. I mean, we were asking about the effectiveness of a T29. He played it just as well as an ET32 player would.
Yes.
He did a very good job with his 7 points.
That's right. No cons. The T32, the T29, it's a good tank to have too. You sacrifice that 1 tier point. It is a higher profile. It does carry more ammunition, but quite an impressive play. Congratulations goes out to Vultures for this map here. If we go ahead and take a look at the replay right now, look at the amazing technology that is esports, the shots that are fired. Blaze 0 moving in to try to hold down the position he's in and do any sort of damage he can to get that cap point reset. Whenever you do damage to an enemy tank in your base being captured, it resets those points to what they were accumulating. So if you have 3 tanks there and you hit one of them, it'll reset those 1 tank's points that were there. Very, very impressive.
And they were suiciding basically. I mean, who reasonably says, "Oh, I'm going to go 2 versus 4 and and that's pretty good. But they were able to reset consistently, give time for them to obviously defend their base while capturing their opponents. Man, flag caps are so exciting sometimes.
It is very exciting. We're going to take a quick break because the last match of tonight is already underway. We're going to jump into the next game after they're complete. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We have more World of Tanks action coming at you.